These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Thursday, February 1st, after the Celtics loss to the Los Angeles Lakers. 114-105 loss. No LeBron James, no Anthony Davis. Didn't matter. Celtics still lost. Austin Reaves had 32 points. He was red hot. D'Angelo Russell had 16 and 14. And the Celtics had their worst game of the season. I think it's pretty safe to say that. This was the worst game from everybody outside of maybe Sam Hauser, who played pretty well. Everybody outside of that was terrible. This was bad. I know you're mad. So I'll let you start off here.
Yeah, no, that's awful. They should literally have to sleep outside today. There is no excuse for any of this. There's not. They played with no effort. Missoula came out and talked about entitlement this week. The team was entitled today. They played like they did not have to do anything to win this game. Right from the jump, they went down early. They gave up 10 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. They turned the ball over 9 times. And throughout the entire game, they continued to give up offensive rebounds. They couldn't get a fucking stop for their life. And they let anything and everything get to them. The offense looked bad. There were times it didn't look terrible. The ball did move at certain points of this game. But there were stretches where it was Jaylen and Porzingis out there, and they looked fucking clueless. Tatum, I feel like, deserves to be closer to the Hauser category today.
He was all right.
I don't think Tatum was that bad. I think he was the main reason they were in this game at all for a lot of it. Hauser made a lot of big shots, but
Tatum couldn't get anything going inside, though, was the problem. And not in terms of like he didn't get calls, but like they were stuffing him inside and he couldn't find any breathing room and he couldn't like get to his spots quick enough. He was lazy on defense a little bit in the first half too. The whole team was, but he was better than, I mean, if the bar is the floor, which was the case with Jaylen Brown and Porzingis in the basement, Tatum was at least on the floor. Yeah.
No. The rest of the team was buried.
That's what I said. They're in the basement.
They were in the graves.
Sure.
No basement, grave. Dead.
Okay.
Terrible. They finally get back into this game in the third quarter. They
Multiple
immediately give up an 8-0 run. They come out the fourth quarter. They score 4 straight. And then they just start letting the Lakers beat them back up the floor. There is no other game this season that you can point to and be like, they just straight up didn't try than this one. It was embarrassing. The fans should have booed. These guys should have to literally take out of their paychecks and pay back the tickets that were paid to go to this game.
See, I usually come on here and I talk about the process was good. The effort was there. They just didn't execute well enough. No, not this game. No effort. This was horrendous from start to finish. The Celtics were lazy on defense. They gave up open shots to far too many people. They gave Reaves too much space. They gave D'Angelo Russell too much space. They were giving up easy lanes to the hoop. Jaylen Brown was awful. Kristaps Porzingis was awful. Jayson Tatum was okay in comparison to the rest of his team being the worst. Second straight game with 15 plus offensive rebounds given up to the opposing team. I will say, I think 10 of them were in the first quarter. So I guess they fixed it, but that's still not very good to give up.
They still gave them up in very untimely moments. There were multiple free throws where the Lakers got the ball back after missing the second free throw. That should never happen.
You're losing to Jackson Hayes? Really? That's what's
happening?
Look
at the guys you fucking lost to today. And yes, they obviously were going to get more opportunity with the stars being out. But be serious. How are you supposed to run through the Eastern Conference and go to the finals and win a championship if you can't show up against a team that's like this? And you can't even be like, it should have been a sleeper game, because Horford came out and talked about the importance of playing in a game like this against the Lakers. It doesn't matter who's on either side. The game is important regardless. The majority of this team has been here long enough to fucking understand that, and they didn't play like it. It was awful. It was embarrassing. It was the worst loss of the season. I don't care about the Bucks game. This was the worst one. Worse than the Warriors game. The effort was atrocious. You were in front of the home fans. It was just an all-around embarrassing case. And I actually feel bad for Missoula, who's going to have to go up there and answer for these assholes.
That is exactly why I was laughing before, because the tweet that I saw on Twitter was, Is Joe Mazzulla good enough to coach to lead the Celtics to a championship? Fuck you. If that's your takeaway after this game, stop fucking watching. That is the most bullshit takeaway from this game I've ever seen. And if any of our commenters say this game was Joe Mazzulla's fault, you didn't fucking watch it. Those guys were out there, head up their ass, not giving a fuck about anything the Lakers did. And you're going to blame the coach? People who say coach them to play harder? You're a fucking moron. That is my least favorite fucking argument in the world. And I don't get mad often. That is horseshit. Mazzulla's not perfect. He's far from the perfect coach, right? He's not Eric Spoelstra. He's not Greg Popovich. Effort is not a fucking coaching thing. You're gonna sit there and tell me Joe Mazzulla's fault that they couldn't play hard? It's the fucking LeBron AD-less Lakers, and they couldn't play hard? How is that the fucking coach's fault? And I know, like you said, you're gonna see it all over social media. I bet there's some commenters. It is the laziest fucking thing you can possibly say.
Hold the players accountable. They're the
Yes.
ones making millions and millions and millions of dollars to go out there and play, to represent the organization. In a rivalry game like this one, I had to watch the Lakers broadcast because for whatever reason they have a monopoly here. And
That's brutal.
the TNT feed was blacked out. I did watch with the playback for a while, but then I got my head out of my ass and realized I could check the guide to see if I had the actual channel because I wanted to watch on cable. And to their credit, like they actually weren't that bad. But
High praise.
well, I thought they were going to be so biased, and they really weren't. The sheer excitement and disbelief that they had about them in the way that they were saying the Celtics were hot in their last 10 games was so frustrating because this should just not have happened. It shouldn't have. And the Celtics really haven't felt to be that hot in their last 10 games. They've won. They've gotten the results. But it has been a rocky road to get to. Are they 7-3 in their last 10 after losing this, or are they now 8-2 still?
I'm unsure. I can check. But
they're one of the two. Whatever
I know what
it
you're saying, though. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're 7-3. 7-3
Yeah.
now, yeah.
A day like today is just unacceptable. And we can go guy by guy. Brown was probably the worst.
He was really
today.
bad.
He was so
lost.
bad. He gave them nothing.
Mhm.
There was a possession in the fourth quarter. They came out of a timeout. He gets the ball in the corner, pump fakes. The guy doesn't bite. He just decides he's going to go up and shoot it. Then he realizes he's not even going to be able to get a shot off. And he panic passes to Derek White, who then has to fire up a long-range bomb. This is after a timeout. This is with your entire chance of coming back on the line, and this is what you get? There were several possessions where it was him and Porzingis throughout the fourth, and Tatum had to sit because he played the entire third. He was the only reason why this game was exciting.
Porzingis also terrible.
No, they were both terrible.
Yeah.
I was going to get to it. Jaylen dribble. The ball doesn't move. Porzingis finally gets the ball. He doesn't even try and move himself once he catches the ball. He's just settling for fallaways, which usually is okay. He wasn't as deep as he usually was in terms of deep inside, not deep far away from the basket. And the shots were more difficult. He had D'Angelo Russell on him for one play, and the ball didn't – he didn't post up. He didn't get the ball inside.
Took a fadeaway mid-range, like by the three-point line. And for what it's worth, just to talk about the Joe thing, what else do you want him to do? He put Jaylen Brown only played 27 minutes. That's because he got benched because he fucking sucked. Like how are you supposed to coach? Anyways,
the only thing I would say, and I don't really know if you can even do this because you already did it once in this game. Just bench him and Porzingis down the stretch. Literally,
he did for a lot of that third quarter. They barely played in that third quarter, and I think Joe was the guy. Well, I know, and it's tough to just say don't play them at all because like they are like all-star caliber players. It's just they were terrible. Derek White wasn't great. I thought he was okay. I feel like a lot of his mistakes were just he missed bunnies that he usually makes. So like he was bad from that perspective, but I don't think he was mistake riddled. There was some defensive plays where he could have been better, some like weird turnovers. Drew Holiday also not very good. He was out of position a lot on defense. It felt like he was taking like risks that didn't pan out in this one. Like he has that freedom, but it didn't work. Horford wasn't, making his shots as much. Nemi was okay for the brief stints, but like he just can't play defense. Let's call a spade a spade. Blocks don't equal defense, guys. Like he was jumping higher than I've ever seen a man jump on a pump fake three. What the fuck are we doing?
We also learned today blocks don't actually equal stop.
Yeah.
They
also
actually
true.
never equal stop.
When you're this team, yeah. It was. That was terrible. That was, and like we said I forget what game we said this, right? You mentioned at the start of the show, this is the first game of the season I felt like they really didn't try. Like the effort wasn't there. And so I'm not gonna like send my concern level to the moon, but it is the highest
I'm
it's been.
concerned a little bit after this, just
Yeah,
because
this is the highest it's been.
even with the low effort, they couldn't score the ball.
Yeah.
That's where I get concerned. Let's not pretend the Lakers have a bunch of all-world defenders out there. Austin Reaves has been getting cooked to a Trae Young level this year, and we're gonna watch the Celtics struggle, and they can't get a good shot. They finally posted him up in the fourth quarter with Holiday, and it was too late.
They were lost. They were
And if
lost
you
on
want to
offense.
attribute that to Missoula, go ahead. If you want to be like they didn't try and target the weakling, fine. Go for it.
The NFL season is wrapping up, and there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Now, the app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays, find bets in the new Explore tab, make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
But even when they did target the weak link, they didn't do it right. Porzingis had Russell on his back. He didn't do shit. Tatum got guys on him, and he would just like get lost in the paint because they send guys, and no one would move around the 3-point line to help him. Like even when they did do it, it didn't work. And also, for what it's worth, yes, Lakers players who don't usually shoot well from three shot very well from three, right? Like, and towards the end of the game,
because
I
it
know,
doesn't fucking matter.
I know. And towards the end of the game, like, you remember that D'Lo 3 that he just made at the end of the shot clock over Pritchard, like a ridiculous heave? You want to know why those shots happen and why guys get hot? Because the Celtics didn't play any defense. And so they got hot and they got in a rhythm and they got momentum and they got confident. Jared Vanderbilt made 2 threes in the corner because they were letting him take them. And yes, that is usually how you're supposed to play defense. And in a normal game where you're not giving up everything else, you live with that shot 10 times out of 10.
Legitimate good players to try and defend.
Yeah. But like Jackson Hayes getting 6 offensive rebounds, D'Angelo Russell shooting 4 of 8 from 3 and 14 assists, right? Like Rui Hachimura getting 3 of 6 from 3 because he was open on all of them. Like there comes a point where you just got to put in that little bit of extra effort. There was another play, it was a Max Christie 3 in the corner where Tatum was like roaming the paint, waiting for a rebound, waiting to help. And no one found Christie in the corner. And he just walked to the corner and stood there for the whole possession, then got an open 3. What are we doing? What is happening? So if my concern about the Celtics before this game was a 2, it's probably about a 4 now, right? So like it doubled, but the concern level wasn't there before because like we talk about, this isn't a trend yet, right? They have tried in every game this season, I would argue, except for this one. But it's concerning because this game comes on the tail of games where they have struggled to get leads or they have struggled to execute as well as they might have. Like part of you wants to say, oh, it's just January, but you can't, like the Celtics mentality all year. Like you can't do that. And especially, and I know I'm not that guy and I don't necessarily care as much as other people. You kidding? Like this is the team you do it against, the Lakers? God, like be better. Like you got to be so much better.
That is the correct take. Like this should matter. And if you're in the comments saying it doesn't matter, I don't know what to tell you. It matters. This is a marquee game. It was on national TV. It was an opportunity to send a message to the rest of the league, the stars on the Lakers that decided to sit today. I guarantee you it was a decision made deliberately. I don't think it had anything to do with the Celtics, but it was still a decision to be made because they want to send a message to this team isn't good enough. LeBron and Davis think they need more help. Do something about it. They were kind of proved wrong, I guess, if you really want to go there. But effort level was poor the entire game. I just looked at the box score for the first time since we started recording. Oddly enough, the Celtics wound up out shooting the Lakers in this game, which is kind of remarkable considering the start that it had. So credit to them for that, I guess, but they still couldn't buy a basket and they couldn't get a stop. And when you watch a game like that, you only want to rip your hair out to the highest degree. It is the absolute worst. I hope somebody at the podium apologizes today. If I was a veteran reporter, I would ask them if they would like to issue an apology. Notice how I said I didn't say I would do it, but if I was a veteran reporter, I
The
would
first,
be like, would you guys like to apologize?
first batch of Joe Mazzulla quotes dropped. Would you like to hear them, or would you like to not be angry?
I want to hear him because I really don't think he's at fault. And I also don't think it's fair to him that he has to literally go up there and try and defend this group of assholes today.
All right, let me read them. Quote, we didn't play as hard as they did. They played inspired. True.
Correct.
They were some pretty interesting turnovers, weren't they?
Correct.
That they were. He said, stretches of bad basketball happen. Am I pissed about losing? Yes, but am I ecstatic about the opportunity to grow as a team? I'm more happy about that. That's just what he's been saying all season.
That's his outlook, but
yep. It's frustrating to hear, but it
happened today.
I agree. Joe Mazzulla is hyped after this loss. It's great. It's good. It just happened. Stretches of bad basketball happen. We can't sit here and act like we're too entitled for that to happen to us. I guess it's humbling.
I hope he means we as the team, because the fans, this is not on them today.
Yeah, no, I don't think, just like fans shouldn't.
The team
he
played like
the fans and
fucking
we.
entitled assholes today.
I know, and
which is how we started this.
I think his point is they better be humbled by this.
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddies. He should buy them all Chinese food. All of them.
He said, I like getting booed. I like getting booed. It's good for you.
No, he literally says the things like I say on this. I'm like when I'm like, I think they should sleep outside, he'd be like, yes. Good for character.
He said, it's unacceptable. It doesn't mean I'm concerned. If you take a look at the whole scope of our season, they happen very little. It's going to happen. It's a matter of holding them accountable and working through it.
Why? I don't disagree that this hasn't happened a lot, but we have had a lot of this similar discussions in terms of him talking to the media in recent weeks. Why is
that? Because they haven't been blowing teams out.
They haven't been playing as well.
Yeah, correct.
I
think this is no, I agree, but I think this game was a different not playing well than their.
Oh, this is like,
yeah,
like there was like, okay, you lost the Clippers, like it's one of those days, and then it's like you cannot have one of those days today.
Yeah,
you can't.
Clippers. It's even different types of one of those days. Like Clippers and Bucks were. I don't think they weren't trying. They just didn't have it on offense, and it spiraled. And whatever. Like shit. Those games can happen. This game can't happen. You can't not try. Like I don't care how many games in the season are. I don't care if it's February, March, January, whatever. You can't not try. Really? Like you just can't not try, regardless if you're playing the Hornets or the Lakers.
Ripping these things.
You can't not try. Mazzulla said, somebody called it embarrassing. He said, I think telling another human being that they should be embarrassed is disrespectful. We played poor stretches of basketball. They
disrespected the fan base.
But said embarrassing is harsh.
Embarrassing is not harsh. It's accurate. It's embarrassing.
Joe Mazzulla, we're not playing good basketball right now.
Correct. Fact.
Correct.
They're not playing good basketball by their standards. They're just not.
Yeah, I agree.
And there needs to... The entitlement thing is cool and all, and I think it is valid, but there's going to come a point where there is a line to be drawn, where the expectations being high is not entitlement. It's the team is good. They should fucking play like it.
I think it's different.
And that's on them.
I agree. And I think it's different. I think you can be that good and have that high standard without being entitled. Right. And I think it's different. Like entitlement is we're this good. We should always win no matter what. Doesn't matter. And then because of that, you can't play hard. Like, you can be a not entitled team and still be the best team in the league. And I think the Celtics have done a good job at that so far this season, but you're starting to see that slip a little bit. And I think it's because of the time of year, which not an excuse, but I think it's a reason. Like it's the Drew Holiday talked about it the other time. He said it's January, February. Teams are going to have lulls. We need to be mentally strong enough to not let them get to us. Well, it's getting to them, right? Like it just is. And you got to avoid it. And it's, again, my concern level, if it was a 2 before, it's a 4 now. It's still low, but it's rising. And the reason is that because like good teams go through bad stretches. It happens. It just, you got to avoid it and you got to get out of it. And you can't have games like today. You can have bad stretches like the Pelicans game or the Pacers game or the Bucks and Clippers games even sprinkled in there. You can't have games like this. That's where the problems start rising. Like look at the Nuggets last year. Remember that part of the season where everyone was like, oh, are the Nuggets really a contender? They kind of suck right now. And then they turned it on. like shit happens, but
It could happen.
This is the game that is the problem because there's an effort, not an execution, and I think this is the one you have to avoid. And also,
Here-
we're only talking about Missoula quotes because they're out now. I don't want this to turn into, oh, is it Missoula's fault or not? It was the player's fault. Period. Yes.
So here's a point. And this is a theme throughout Missoula's talking points always.
Good Missoula thing. Yeah.
When things get tough, I'm interested to see how this team does. Because up until probably 2 weeks ago, it's been before they lost to Denver. It has been mostly sunshine, rainbows. They hadn't lost at home. Best team in the league, still are. Best team in the league, just slapping the piss out of everybody. Now that things have gotten a bit bumpy, it's not over. It is February. It's not the end of the world. But are people going to still love each other? Is it still going to be happy-go-lucky? Everybody's happy. Everybody wants to sacrifice? I'm not hoping that it changes. But the true character comes out when the adversity comes. And we're seeing the Celtics' first dose of adversity, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They've got to bounce back from it, and they got to figure it out.
And Sunday, by the way, is another gimme game. Very similar to this, where Grizzlies' ass shouldn't really have any kind of excuse to lose.
I will say, though, this Grizzlies is better than the Lakers team they just played. So they got to fucking figure it out.
Shams just tweeted.
Missoula said sitting Brown, Porzingis, and Holiday at the start of the third quarter was part of the accountability, and he's done it at different points this year. Said the next step is really good practice on Sunday. There you go. All right.
Public apology is the next step.
I don't think Shams just had to come on and clarify. Sorry, the team did not confirm a tear. Moron.
Back little circle back to the pregame because we were talking about it.
It's probably going to be a minute before the players start talking, so I don't think we're going to wait here and react to those. I don't know, unless you would like to. I don't have anything else.
No, I don't really want to sit around, but I did have something else I wanted to bring up. I saw somebody say, I'm not concerned. This is their third game in 4 nights, and I literally could not give less of a fuck.
Yeah, I think the backs-to-backs is a thing, but that's not an excuse to play like this.
Well, guess what? Today was not back.
I know. I'm saying
guess what they did on the back-to-backs is they won.
Yes. Yeah. Tough. It's got to be better. You got to be better than that. Anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to How About Them Celtics. We appreciate you. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure they'll be great. And I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Yes, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. If you're watching today, you are truly a sicko, and we appreciate that. But you should watch on days like today because I think it's fun to be miserable on the show every once in a while. So subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our uploads like this one. Full pod coming at you Sunday. Talking C's will be out sometime soon. I don't know what the schedule is. Also, film breakdowns, rumor breakdowns. We're live a half hour before every game. You can catch those here on the channel. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. Follow us there for the audio versions of the full pods and game recaps. They'll go right to your inbox. Leave a 5-star review. Say something nice. If you want, you can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. I'm sure people have things to say today. You can do that, and we will read them on the recording when we record the Sunday pod. You can also find us on socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Facebook page is just the name of the podcast. Our pregame streams are there and on YouTube and also on Twitter. Jack's Twitter at JacksMonNBA. Mine at SamLaFranceNBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on. Taco.